including the front end, okay, including the front end as well as the back end, okay, including the front end as well as the back end. So I was kind of mentioning this particular one, right or not? So how, like in a full stack development, you have to kind of, like go for dealing with both, like the front end as well as, like the back end. Okay. So for the front end development, okay, for the front end development, we need the technologies like the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all. And for our backend development, we are going to use our Python related technology. Okay, so this is what our discussion we made. Django as a web framework we are going to discuss. Okay, as a web framework to build a web application kind of thing. Django is having ORM part of that the Django ORM you are referring. So, but the majority of the Django is like using it as a web framework. Yes. Okay, so this is what we have already seen. Okay, so a little bit, like some of, okay, tell me. Okay. Yeah, meaning Django is like popularly, it is a web framework. Along with that, nowadays, like there are small module included like Django ORM to let you work with, like the database kind of thing. That is just a small supporting library there. Okay, Django ORM. But Django is primarily a web framework. Okay, Django is primarily a web framework. Okay, remember that. So anyway, so how this particular course is going to help you, like, so what we'll be kind of trying to do is like as part of this course, we'll try to ensure, like we're writing a lot of kind of code that is 100% going to develop, like a good programming skill. Okay, meaning once you're finishing this particular course, you'll be getting some amount of, like a good understanding, like, how someone write, like Python program. Okay, like a good level of, like a Python developer you think of. Okay, and we'll be kind of, like looking into a lot of problems solving kind of skill, because generally simply focusing on, like the language is not enough, because one of the important area where basically people struggle is like particularly the beginner is the logic building kind of thing. They understood, okay, these are the thing in the language, how to write stuff and all. But one of the thing they always kind of struggle is like, some kind of problem solving skill. They don't develop a good amount of logical skill. Okay, so we'll be ensuring like we're writing, a lot of code such that we can have, like a good amount of logical skill with us. That is something we'll be doing. And we'll be kind of ensuring like some problem analyzing skill we are developing. If someone is giving some kind of problem, then we are reaching to a level where we can analyze that problem and convert that problem into a code kind of thing. Okay, some of the interview related thing we'll be talking about, like as we go, maybe like, topic wise, some of those interview thing I'll be mentioning. I mean, you need to explore a little bit on your own outside. Like I'll be leaving that, like for these concept, these kind of interview question might be coming up. So you have to kind of make sure you are following them. Subject wise, or, like the concept wise, individual concept wise, if you start following the interview parallelly, okay, when a concept going on, side by you are having a little observation like, okay, what kind of question might be asked, like in this particular chapter or in this particular subject. So then it will be really helpful for you. Are you getting on? So we'll be understanding how to do that one. Okay, and some of the other thing, like I'll be telling you some skill that is basically, like many you people are not kind of like putting any fake experience and all. So ignore that point. But basically, like for beginner, this particular point is not necessary. For beginner, you are always having the lavishness of, going and, slowly adapting to the industry. But people, those who are having those kind of like gap and all, and the people, those who are kind of like following those fake experience kind of thing. So for them, like surviving skill is also one of the important matter. Okay. So anyway, just leave that one. And we'll look in a lot of frequently asked question, like, what are the type of question individual subject wise they might be asking. Okay. And as I said, like as a part of, like our core and advanced Python, we'll be ensuring like a lot of exercise I'm giving you. Meaning there will be a separate document I'll be sharing. This one will be my first, like the class note kind of thing. Generally, you are not going to write a lot of thing in the class. Rather, I'll be putting everything into this document, and I'll be going on, like kind of teaching you side by, but this one is going to act as a reference document for you. So along with that, I'll be giving one exercise document as, like step by step individual concept I finish, subject wise or concept wise, I'll be asking you to do those exercises. So 100 plus exercise, I'll be keeping in another document, and step by step or chapter wise, you start targeting the corresponding exercise. You have to do that. I'll not do any exercise here. Okay. So exercises are kept into a separate document, and you got to kind of follow that. Okay. If you can follow these 100 plus exercise, automatically your logic building skill will be getting developed. Okay. Automatically your logic building skill will be getting developed. Okay. Because simply listening, so unlike the class, is never going to make you a programmer, because in the class I'll be going on, like talking about a concept, and on that concept I'll be showing you the POC type of thing, right? Concept wise proof of concept I'll be doing, right? I explain a particular concept to kind of, like make you understand that concept in a proper way. I'll be doing the POC, the proof of concept. But those POC, what I do, that is not going to helpful for you until something you are not doing on your own. And that is where these exercises are going to be really helpful. Okay. And as I said, like at the end, we'll be having at least, at the end in the sense, like side by as you're moving. So, as we reach to a particular level in our discussion, we'll target, like building at least 3 project totally. Okay. 3 project will be building. That will give you a complete idea of how each of these concept what you are learning can be coordinated together. Okay. How these concept what you are learning can be coordinated together. Are you getting it? So that is what, the agenda on this course. So you need to kind of like understand that one. Okay. And when you are thinking about, like the Python as a programming language nowadays, what kind of, like the job domain, or what kind of the job role you can look for, right? What kind of job domain or job role you can think of? There are, like remember, Python is a technology which is spread across many domain. In many different area people use Python. Okay. In many different area people use Python, hence its job role is also highly distributed type of thing. Okay. So you might be kind of, like in a different kind of world altogether, but you are using Python. Okay. So, but like the technology, what you are learning right now, okay, the Java, sorry, the Python full stack development, this particular one is going to land you, like a job role, like something like this as a Python developer or a Python application developer, or, like those regular software engineer who is working with the Python technology. Okay. Or kind of, like a Python backend developer or a Python full stack developer. This kind of job role you might be kind of entering into. Meaning our course is basically targeting this particular job role. Okay. Our target is, meaning this course is technically targeting to this kind of job role. Okay. But you will be finding many other areas where, like the Python technology fit into. You might be knowing about, like the Python is very popular in the data analyst, meaning in the data analysis world or data science world. So you can think about like a data analyst kind of job role. But remember, to be a data analyst or to be a data scientist kind of thing, you have to have like some additional module with you. Are you getting on our course? You can consider like this Python course, and like this Python course is going to basically act as a foundation kind of thing. Okay, so you think of, you are going to learn, so like the Python here. Okay, you are going to learn the core Python. Okay, so the Python is the core Python. Okay, and then like the core Python is absolutely the entry point to the Python world, right? So you must learn that one. Then on top of that, we are also going to learn something called as what, like the advanced Python. Okay, you're going to learn some kind of advanced Python. So the core Python, advanced Python, in a way, are kind of absolutely necessary kind of thing. Okay, these are kind of like absolutely necessary for anyone thinking about the Python technology. Anyone thinking about Python, they must finish this core and advanced Python. This give you the Python programming language on your hand. Okay, this together you consider as Python, like language. Okay, this is the Python programming language altogether. Okay, once you're having the Python programming language, in our course, whatever the content we are kind of learning, like this one is making us a Python based, like a Python based application developer or a Python based full stack developer, that kind of job role. But like for that purpose, we are learning the technologies like what, like Django kind of thing. Okay, we are learning Django and Django, and we are learning kind of Flask kind of thing. These are the things we are learning, like as a part of our course. Okay, meaning once we finish this particular core and advanced Python, which is more or less covering the Python programming language. Okay, the Python language. Along with that, if you're adding this Django Flask kind of thing, then you are kind of becoming suitable for a Python based developer or Python based web developer or an application developer. Okay, or a full stack developer, that kind of thing. But there are other, because Python is always a batteries included language. Okay, a batteries included language. That means in Python world, there are many more libraries available. There are many more libraries available. Okay, by learning more and more Python related library. Okay, by learning more and more Python related library, meaning you can learn some library that make you, like you can learn some library, okay, of the Python that can make you, like suitable for a data analysis kind of world. Meaning you can kind of like become a data analyst, or kind of learning few more module of Python. You can become, like a data, meaning you can opt a data scientist kind of role, or by learning like some other module, you can become like a AI ML kind of like thing, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, those kind of thing. I mean, those domains are pretty vast domain. It is not about like AI ML, like just one module you learn and you become like a artificial intelligence guy or a machine learning guy. Over there, there are a lot of algorithms available. Okay, you need to kind of master those algorithm kind of thing. Are you getting? But the idea from the Python point of view is, it is always a batteries included kind of thing. Meaning once anyone finish the core and advanced Python, which is more or less kind of the language part. Now adding, like, or by extending yourself, like by learning individual module or more and more modular library type of thing in Python world, you can make yourself flexible to any of these kind of job role. But I will be suggesting always, like anyone interested in Python technology, first work at least 1 2 year. If you're having a plan, okay, if this Python domain is so open and I'm becoming kind of strong on my core Python and advanced Python as the language. Like then I can switch to data analyst, data analyst kind of job role for data analysis, or I can switch to data scientist kind of role. Then my suggestion will be always be, like in this particular Python developer role for at least 1-2 year. If you're targeting to switch, okay, first of all, be on this job role for a few year, okay, 1-2 year. And then after, if you think about switching, then just, like add 1 or 2 module into your control, or you learn 1 or 2 more module that make you suitable for the corresponding job role, and you can go for that. Okay, that type of flexibility Python is always having. Are you getting on it? Okay. So you can, like get into the job roles such as the data analyst, data scientist. In the cybersecurity world, also a lot of Python based scripting being used. You can also go for AI, ML kind of like engineer role, artificial intelligence or machine learning, that kind of role. Okay. But remember, each of these things need more and more additional module, but particularly in AI, ML kind of job role, you need to learn, like some of the Python related module. But before that, you need to learn the AI, ML, deep learning related algorithm. There are a lot of algorithms available, and those algorithm you got to learn plus some module of the Python to implement those things. Okay, then only you can get into this kind of job role. Okay, but this is something, possibly it is a time taking thing. Okay, so I don't think like you people are planning anything on this. But one more thing also, in another side, the Python can be used for, like automation related, lot of automation related job role. Nowadays, if you look into Python being used for, what is that, like test automation kind of thing, like how you are having, like the tester, right? The testing kind of people nowadays, like most of the testing people, which used to work with one of the popular technology called as Selenium in Java world. Okay. Similarly, there are, like Python based, like test automation kind of job roles are also there. Are you getting? Remember, Python is a very open and very vast kind of like job domain. You think of lot of job profiles are there. Okay. So, but for anything, like this basic is necessary first. Okay. Once the language is under your control, how much you are expanding yourself, depending upon your requirement, okay, depending upon your choice, you can get into the corresponding field. Now, in the cybersecurity world, I said like Python act as a supporting word. Okay, cybersecurity world is a different thing. So there are a lot of things you got to learn. You need to become a cybersecurity professional first. And along with that, like Python can help you to do some automation kind of activity or let you to write some script and all. So on that way, okay. So it is not like a primary thing there, but it is a supporting thing there. Okay, but the other job role, whatever I mentioned, more or less, like Python can be considered as the primary technology there. Okay, so that is what, like the key thing you need to remember. Okay, so if this particular one is clear, okay, a little bit, like the different job profile what we'll be getting on the Python world, I can just give you a little bit, like background about a concept like how Python is important today, like how significant, like Python is. Are you getting on it? I already mentioned this one. So Python is commonly used in developing web application kind of thing, task automation, daily analysis, and data visualization, data analysis, data visualization, and all this kind of thing. Right or not? You can read out. Okay, so I'll be sharing this document, but I just want to present you, like stats kind of thing or statistics kind of thing. Okay, so that is something called as the TOB index. I'm showing you just to give you a reasoning, like, why someone need to think about Python today. Okay, is really Python, like meaningful today, or like we can kind of, or we are just kind of like living in a illusion kind of thing, because many people are talking about Python, and hence we are also talking about. So it's not on that way actually. Like this is basically, like one, what I can say, like, kind of organization type of thing you consider, which basically brings in programming language popularity. Okay, which programming language is popular, like in the current trend. Okay, so that is something we can see here. So the index, like what they come up with, that suggests like, you see here, Python in June 2023, whatever our current month is. So for the June 2023, Python happened to be, like the highly popular language. You see that Python happened to be very popular language. Okay. And this is what basically the reasoning, like that many people think about learning the Python programming language. Okay. When anyone think about Python, one of the great reasoning is its popularity. Okay. And remember, Python popularity has exploded recently. Maybe I can say like since last 10 years, you think of Python popularity is always in the peak. Somewhere Python language will be finding in number one to number one, number two, number three, that kind of thing. Okay. Nowadays it is the popular one, you see here. Okay. So as per this TOP index, these 3 to 4 languages are having a close competition, right? Python. And one of the biggest thing is people basically don't expect C to be popular that much, because possibly in the Indian market, people started forgetting C language, right? They don't learn C language or anything. But C language is having, like second highest popularity. Are you getting or not? So this is not like whether you believe or not. It is the true factor, because in many places, like behind the scene, meaning there are many technology behind the scene use, the C language. Okay, we are going to learn Python, but the Python implementation, what you are going to use, that is written in C language only. Okay, Python implementation, what you are going to learn, that itself is written using C language. So that means, like Python, sorry, C++ remain, like very, very popular, like behind the scene. Okay. That means they have their own popularity. Okay. Because the point is many things, many technology internally, like written using C++ and all. Okay. So if you think about, if you're learning Java and you are using some kind of JDK and all for Java development, those JDKs and all are written using, like C++ kind of language, or you are using like, Python, but Python implementation, what you are going to use, that is your C Python. The C Python is written using C language only. So the relevance of C++, even though it is, like unknown to many people, but it is always remain, like the underlying kind of thing. Okay. So you might be behind some of the high level technology, but C++ remain always the underlying technology. So if you see here, like the last year, the same time, the hierarchy is like this. Last year also, like Python was the number one language. I think Python is sticking on this number one position since last few years. Okay. So last 1 to maybe like 2 to 3 years, Python is kind of like the popular language. Okay. But as I said, like it is always happening between these 4 languages. And in between, JavaScript was very popular. Okay. It was almost in the number 2, number 3 position. But nowadays it is somewhere around, like number 7. Okay. But this is what more or less, like the popularity of Python. Okay. So nowadays, like when people talk about like, programming language, uh, even though, like some people think about Java side by, in their mind, possibly Python is going on, looking into the different job domain and all. Okay. There is another statistics I can show you, that is from Statistics Times. Okay. And if I just follow that one here, in the statistics time, you'll be finding this one. Okay. If you see here, this is also another kind of, like organization kind of thing that provides the statistics, like on programming language popularity. Actually, they are gathering the index from different other kind of thing, from other indexing, and kind of like consolidating all these things. Okay, let me show you here. Here they are showing you the TOB index. Okay, this one is the TOB index, what you have already seen there, right? So as per the TOB index, Python remained the number one, then C, then Java or something like that. This one is a little bit kind of like the old kind of thing, June 2022 they are showing. And here, like there is another one called as PayPal, PYPL. Okay. And their indexing also suggests like, Python as a number one language. And as per PayPal, Java looks like as the second most popular language. And there is kind of like some percentage set. Now remember, these stats they calculate based on different parameters. So you don't need to think of like the TOB says something, PayPal says something. Meaning the based on like what parameter they are calculating the popularity. The parameter might be different. That is the reason. Okay, but more or less, like one thing getting confirmed is the Python is having like big deal of popularity, right? And here in statistics time, you will be also finding the popularity factor, like country wise. In some of the countries they have mentioned, like in US, if you look into the popularity of Python goes pretty high, right? You see there somewhere around close to 30% popularity of Python programming language over around 17% of the Java market share, right? Remember, these are all popularity, but as I said, like it's not about how many project and all. It's not on that way. So it is based on whatever the parameter they have used. You can read out these documentation, okay, to understand based on what parameter they have calculated these indexes. Okay, that is. And if you look into in Indian market also, Python is having pretty good popularity, right? You see here. So we got somewhere around 26% of Python popularity over, like around 22% of Java popularity. Remember, like in Indian market for a long time, most of the development work used to happen in Java only. Okay, India is mostly, okay, from the very beginning, India is mostly like a Java market kind of thing. Okay, there's a reason if you look into, like from 2000 all the way up to 2020. Okay, 2000 to 2020, most of the people will be thinking like learning and going through, like the Java technology, right? Because India was having a big market share, but now the market share is getting divided. Like most of the market share is getting shared between, like Python and Java. That means, like in Indian market, you think of like this is a close, right? It is something like Java is around 23%, and this one is close to 26%. So very close there. So, but still, like kind of half between them, right? So that is what like the popularity. Meaning in Indian market, Python popularity has grown up, and Java popularity has been decreased. Okay, this is. And similarly on European market also, if you see, European market is having pretty good popularity on the Python. Are you getting that? Okay. So anyway, this is what, like the reason, like, many people think about the Python programming language. Okay. So the importance of the Python has been kind of like increased drastically. Okay. So these are some of the kind of proven factor, like why people are talking about Python programming language. Are you understanding or not? So this is. And on that way, like why Python is popular, if you think of like, you understood that, okay, Python is popular, but why Python is popular? Why basically, like people are talking about that one. Okay, if it is popular, then what is the reason around that? There are many reasons around this particular one. Okay, Python is popular for a number of reasons. Okay, and here some of the reasoning is like one of the greatest reason is it's a simple syntax. Again, I personally don't believe, like the way people market the syntax easiness, because see, any programming language, if there is a syntax, like syntax is something as you repeatedly use, you become like comfortable with that. Python syntax is not like without doing anything, you become comfortable with that. Okay. But yes, if you put a comparison type of thing, comparatively, Python syntax is simpler compared to other programming language. If you are going for say like, Java programming language, there are lot of ceremonial kind of concept. You have to follow those curly braces. You have to, meaning consider like Python is not that much of a ceremonial language. It is very straightforward language. Okay. It is not like you want to print a simple hello world kind of message. For that, like you don't need to do a lot of ceremony. Okay. With Python, simple, you want to print, you write a print statement. That's all, your job is done. Okay. Print hello world. It will be simply print. You don't need to write anything, any second thing. Okay. To print a hello world, you don't need to write any second thing. But if the same print statement you need to print a basic hello world kind of thing, using .NET, using Java, using any other programming language, you have to write, like few line of code. You need to write at least 4 or 5 line of code to print that hello world. Got it, Anna? So that is the reason, like Python, basically people consider to be more simple language. It's kind of a straightforward language, no ceremony, meaning my understanding is in this way, that Python is less ceremonial language. Okay, it's not having lot of unnecessary arrangement you need to do before doing something. Okay, so it has, like a very simple syntax, and that is what, Python is one of the reason to be more popular. Many people, those who are novice, meaning Python got its popularity on this way. People feel like, working, someone who is not having a computer science background, but still they can also feel like, okay, we can program using Python because it's not that complex. It's not a lot of, ceremonial code and all. Meaning by looking into some of the ceremonial thing, people used to afraid in other language. If I have to write a simple hello world in Java, I need to write 4 or 5 lines. And people don't understand what that 4 or 5 line is doing. So a lot of thing there. But with Python, it is truly a simple syntax that makes, like many people get attracted towards the Python language. Okay. And Python is, like a versatile kind of language. Okay. Python is a general purpose language. It is a versatile language. That means Python can be used for many different things, starting from web development to machine learning to deep learning to anything. Okay. So this is one of the other reason also, like people find Python everywhere nowadays. Okay. It is the current trend is in this way that Python is kind of everywhere. Okay. You are doing a simple web development, you'll be finding Python. You are doing some kind of like automation kind of thing, like you'll be finding Python. Imagine like you are a DevOps engineer, and a DevOps engineer wants to automate their daily kind of like tasks. Some of the tasks they have, they want to automate that task automation kind of thing that can be done using the Python. You are possibly, like a cybersecurity professional, and you want to write some script to do something. That is something also you can do using Python. Or you want to kind of like do like test automation kind of thing that can be done using Python. And like the activities like machine learning and all that also can be done using Python. And remember, one of the greatest reason for Python's popularity, I consider like the adoption of meaning the AI and artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, that world using Python language, that is one of the greatest reason for Python success. Okay, meaning since last 10-15 years, this AI world, like the artificial intelligence world, adopting Python programming language made Python much more popular. If that thing is not happening, so like, the AI world is not adapting Python, instead of that, they would have adapted some other language, then possibly Python's popularity might not be that much high nowadays. Okay, so one of the reason is that particular one. But anyway, it's a versatile language. Okay, a language that can be used for many different use cases. And remember, it is all possible because of the Python library. Okay, for everything Python provide you different library. Using those library, you can easily target that particular, like the task what is in your hand. Okay. One of the other big reason is possibly like beginner friendly. Okay, meaning anyone, like not having any programming language. Okay, because imagine the tradition was like this. The tradition was, okay, you want to get into Java, so you learn some C++, and then you get into Java. someone who enter into Java directly, they feel like, okay, directly getting into Java is a little bit cumbersome, little bit difficult kind of thing, because they don't understand Java directly. I mean, someone coming from computer science background, that's a different story, right? Computer science background, they learn already some amount of C++ kind of thing, and then they are getting into Java. So they're having that comfortness. But possibly someone, like coming a little bit from a different domain, non-computer science kind of domain, then for them, like it is a real challenge, like to get into a programming language like Java. They always have a mindset like I can only get into Java if I learn some amount of C++. And I don't know C++, they have that particular mindset issue that I cannot get into Java and all. Or if they get into Java, that mindset issue always create the problem. They think like, I cannot write program and all these things. It's not a beginner friendly, meaning because as I said, like it is more ceremonial thing. People are afraid of that ceremonial thing, right? But Python is not that much kind of thing, meaning there is a trend being kind of like developed that you want to learn Python, you don't need anything else because C++ background is not having any link with your Python. Python is far more easier than C++. Okay. When instead of going to kind of like a C++ language, you directly jump into Python and you will be finding comparatively learning C compared to that, learning Python is like much easier. That is the reason like beginners easily like pop up with the Python language. Okay. It's not like there is no learning curve, 100% there are learning curve involved. But beginner think like, okay, it is an easier one because that confidence always matter. If I feel like, okay, it is easy and later, like I realize some kind of complex concept, that's a different thing. But at the beginning, we'll be finding this language is so friendly to the beginners. Okay. And one of the other thing is it is an open source, which means, like it is free to use and, like free to distribute and all. And even for your commercial purpose, it is kind of a free and open source kind of language. Okay. Remember, Python is one of the free and open source kind of language. So you don't have any commercial thing involved there. Okay. So that is one of the other thing. And one of the other important thing is like Python's, like Python archive of module and the library. I mean, Python is having big, library base. Okay, there is a lot of Python libraries exist. Remember, Python is close to how many year? I think 90, 10 here, 23, right? So close to 33, 34-year-old language. Remember, consider it like close to 35-year-old language. And 35-year-old language, you can understand like how much maturity this one is having. And, like how much library this language might be having along with it. Okay, so Python is having a huge library base. Okay, a huge libraries under the Python belt. That is the reason, like you can do anything with Python or many things with Python. Okay, so remember there are a lot of, like Python library exist that make, like to do anything using Python possible. You want to do machine learning using Python? That is possible only through Python library. Python just as a programming language is not doing anything. Okay, most of the thing what you are going to achieve, that is all possible because of the Python's library. Remember that one. Okay, so Python is having a rich set of library, and this library makes, like Python, like so versatile that you can do many things using the Python technology. Getting it or not? Okay, so that is something you need to remember. And one of the other thing is like, Python has a large and a very active kind of like community, that is the developer community that contribute to the Python language and these Python libraries. Okay. And you can expect tomorrow anything required, then the Python community is going to possibly write a new library for that requirement. Okay. So Python is having a big user base or, like a active developers community. That is also one of the other great reason for the Python's popularity. Okay, so remember we are kind of confirming that yes, Python is a popular language. Some of the indexing things, they're suggesting that Python is popular. but we are also understanding why Python is popular. Okay. Simple syntax, versatile kind of language, beginner friendly, open source, lot of libraries, and like a huge developer community that makes Python and one of the popular programming language. Okay. And if you look into here, there is a kind of like a image I have picked up, and it is kind of showing you the top companies that are using like Python nowadays. Almost like many big companies are kind of like using Python behind the scene. Okay, so these are some kind of like ideas just to give you. Okay, and if that is clear, like I just want to take one or two questions. Then tomorrow onward we'll be starting. Meaning, yeah, tomorrow onward we'll be starting with like defining Python and slowly entering into download installation kind of thing. Okay, I'll be sharing this document, guys. Okay, remember this document I'll be sharing. So if you have any question, you can just raise them. Having any question, guys? No, I guess, right? All right. So I'm just wrapping up for today. Okay. So we'll be continuing tomorrow. Thank you, guys.